What's up guys, Pokemon here, and welcome to the next episode. And today we're going to be doing something very cool, and that is how to make your very own Pokemon card notebook like I have right here. As you guys can see, it is made of Pokemon cards both on the front and back, and I think it turned out really well. It looks super cool. It has a little coil on the side just like a regular notebook. It has as many pages as you want. You can even rip out pages. It's essentially just like a regular notebook but with Pokemon cards. You can doodle in it, draw in it, do whatever you want, show it off to your friends. And of course guys, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and leave a comment if you have any questions, or if you want to leave an idea for the next video. I saw a lot of you guys put down some great ideas that I was sure to reply to, and you guys might see them in future videos. Of course, I'll be sure to give you a shout out. So remember to leave your ideas and comments, and without further ado guys, let's get into the materials. So the materials you guys are going to need is, of course, a notebook. Not too big, mine's 140 pages. I didn't end up using all the pages though, so it doesn't have to be too big. Of course, it needs to be a notebook with a coil on the side, because as you guys saw in the intro, that's going to be on the side of your Pokemon card notepad. The next thing you guys are going to need is a ruler. You guys know, I use rulers in pretty much all of my videos to measure dimensions. Next, after that, you guys are going to need a pen. This is going to be used to poke the little holes for the coil on your notepad, so make sure it's one of these kinds of pens. After that, you're going to need a couple Pokemon cards, of course, 2 for each notepad, front and back. I have 4 here, which would be enough to make 2 notepads, so just get as many as you need. After that, I don't actually know what these are called, but they're these little pushy things, as you guys can see right here. I'm sure you have them. If you don't, it's not the end of the world. You could probably do it without it, but it would be a little bit harder. Now you guys need an X-Acto knife or scissors. It's really personal preference. I'm actually going to use scissors though. And then you're going to need some wire cutters. Most pliers actually have wire cutters, as you can see in that little bottom area. If yours don't have that, then you're going to need wire cutters. And if you don't have pliers or wire cutters, scissors may work. So the first thing we're going to need to do is take off the coil from the notebook. So in order to do that, just extend the bottom and the top, and then just take your wire cutters and cut off that little area that they have bent in that holds the coil together. So just cut that off on the top and bottom, and then when you're done that, we're just going to remove the coil. So once you have removed the little end points of the coil on both the top and the bottom, it should look just like this. And then just take your fingers and roll it on the coil like I am right here, so that the coil starts to come out, and just do that until the entire thing is out of the notebook. So once you have removed the coil from your notebook, it should look just like this, completely clean, essentially just a stack of papers. So just put your coil on the side and put your notebook down. You should also remove the cover from your notebook, as well as the back if you want, so it is essentially just a stack of papers. And then mine was a little bit thick with 140 pages, so just take how many pages you want. I removed about half of it, maybe 2/3, and this was how many pages I thought would look good in the notebook. So then after you have decided on how many pages you want, just take 2 of your Pokemon cards, and I always make an extra little notebook so that if I make a mistake or one looks slightly better than the other, I can choose one over the other. You don't have to if you don't want to. If you're just making one notebook, just make one, but I'll be making 2 just in case. Then just take your Pokemon cards and place them on your notebook where you want them to be, and then just draw little lines along the edges so that you know where the Pokemon card is. And you can also take a ruler and stretch those lines out a bit. I didn't do that on camera, but I did do it. It's definitely beneficial. And also don't forget to take your little clippy things and kind of push them on the notebook, where like kind of in the middle where your notebook was, or your Pokemon card, so that it's easier to cut and all the pages don't kind of go everywhere. And on that note, take your scissors or your X-Acto knife, whichever you prefer. Honestly, I think a scissors will be easier on this project because we are cutting through a lot of paper. And then just take your scissors and cut along your lines so that your notebooks are completely taken out along the outline of your Pokemon card. So as you guys can see, those little pushy things were a huge help. They kept all our paper together and essentially made cutting it out a much easier job. So I already know a lot of you guys are going to be yelling at me in the comments what they're called. So please, one of you, just let me know the real name and I'll be sure to read it. and thank you for that. So once you guys have cut out your notebook completely, I'm going to choose my favorite one. I think this one looks slightly better than the other one, to be honest, so I'm going to be using that one. And just take your Pokemon card and align it on your little notebook where you want it to be with those little dots, and then just turn it over. And then what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking our pen and we're going to be scribbling little dots in between the little holes on the pages so that we know where to poke through our little coil. So as you guys can see, I just drew little dots in those little holes so that they're on the back of our Pokemon card. And now what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking our pen and using the tip, we're going to poke holes into the Pokemon card so that we're able to put the coil through it. So just kind of put the Pokemon card on a flat surface and then just poke your holes. Make sure to do it as gently as possible. If your Pokemon card rips, it's not the end of the world. I actually had a few rips, so that's completely fine. So once you have done poking holes along all of your dots, just do it again, this time a little bit slower, and just make sure that your holes are as clear as possible. They are actually holes, and just kind of take your finger and bend the leftover paper on the other side to the side so that you're able to put your coil through it a little bit easier. So once you guys are done that, we're essentially going to be doing the exact same thing on the other card, except with the sides flipped over so you can have the back facing the back. But I actually made a mistake here and I accidentally used my other notebook to poke the holes on this card, and that was a big mistake because the holes were not the same on both of my notebooks. When I put the coil through, it wouldn't be even. So make sure that you're using the exact same notebook or like the piece of paper for both your top and your back, and don't make the same mistake I did. So later you guys are going to see that I just swapped out my Growlithe for Sandile, and that's just because I'm going to be poking the holes with the same notebook I'm using for the Drowsy instead of with the other notebook. So again, guys, just make sure you use the exact same notebook for both your cards so that the coil goes through very nice and smoothly. So again, I've just aligned my Drowsy on the notebook where I want it to be, so the back is going to be facing the back, and I've just drew my little dots on the front of the card where I'm going to be poking the holes. So just take your pen and poke the holes and just redo the first step that you did with Growlithe or your top card. So now I've completed both my top and my bottom card. Of course, guys, remember the holes on the Growlithe are wrong, but it doesn't make a difference. I'll just be swapping out for a Sandile later. So just take your top card and put it on top, and then take your bottom card and put it on the back. And what we're going to be doing now is we're going to be taking our coil that we took out of the notebook earlier, and we're just going to be threading it through those holes so that our notebook is essentially just like before, but a Pokemon card one. So for your first hole, to make it a little bit easier, just take your coil and first thread through the first hole on the top one, and then through your actual notebook papers, and then finally on the back card. And then after that, you can just kind of twist your coil or put it through the holes. It should go smoothly if you did everything right. Of course, guys, patience is a main thing here. If your coil is not going through, just open your notebook, see what the problem is, try and fix it. Don't force anything. If everything just goes smoothly through, then it goes smoothly through. And of course, when you guys are done, just make sure that everything is correct, that the coil is through each of its respective holes and it opens correctly. So now you can just take your pliers or even your fingers and just bend those little sharp edges in so that they're not poking out and it's kind of like a real notebook. And then for the top, just cut off what you don't need, all the excess, just pull it and cut it. You really don't need it. You really don't need that extra little line. And then, of course, just bend it in like the other one so that nothing's protruding and there's nothing sharp poking out. So there we go, guys. Just like that, you have completed your very own Pokemon card notebook. You can bring it to school, show it off to your friends that you have your very own one-of-a-kind custom Pokemon card notebook. And of course, guys, if you enjoyed this video, feel free to subscribe to the channel, leave a like on this video, and leave a comment. I have many other videos on my channel, helpful videos like this, maybe how to make your own Pokemon cards, how to make your own Pokemon card sleeves, how to make your own booster packs, you name it. If you want to know how to make something with a Pokemon trading card, it's likely it's on my channel. If you guys have any other ideas, leave a comment and I'll be sure to look at it. Peace.